Heyo, welcome back to Cartoon Mania. Today we'll cover the series Ben 10 Ultimate Alien from start to finish. The show has 3 seasons and 52 episodes, divided into several thrilling arcs. The series starts off a few months after the last one ended. So without further ado, let's head right into it. Ben's secret identity as the wielder of the Omnitrix is exposed, causing a media frenzy and making it difficult for him to leave his house. He scares off the paparazzi as Humongousaur, but reverts to his human form to avoid causing more fear. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin watch TV coverage that portrays Ben negatively, and Ben decides he can make a positive impact by embracing his fame. They track down the person who leaked Ben's identity and discover it's a young boy named Jimmy Jones, who wanted to celebrate Ben's heroism. Jimmy shares information about alien sightings in Florida, leading the team to investigate. After a confrontation with a powerful alien, Ben transforms into Chromastone and later into Ultimate Spider Monkey to defeat the alien named Bivalven, who reveals he and others were captured by Aggregor and stranded on Earth. Ben calls the plumbers to help Bivalven and defuse a nuclear bomb. Back at school, Ben's classmates applaud him for his heroism, but Bivalven is captured by Aggregor, setting up a new threat. In their ongoing battle against Dr. Anemo's mind-controlled Yeti, Four Arms transforms into Brainstorm to disrupt the mind control while Gwen and Kevin work to disable the transformation device. Their efforts lead to the Yeti turning against Anemo, ultimately containing the villain and disabling his device. Meanwhile, in Bellwood, the team encounters Galapagos, a peace-loving alien from Aldabra, who reveals that he and 4 others named Bivalven, Pandor, Andreas, and Raad were captured by Aggregor, a ruthless Osmosian intent on absorbing their powers. After a daring escape, Galapagos and his fellow aliens seek help, but Magister Prior Gilhill is tragically killed by Aggregor. Galapagos seemingly betrays the group by offering their powers to Aggregor in exchange for freedom, but neutralizes Aggregor instead, aiding their escape to Earth. However, Aggregor, disguised as a plumber, captures Galapagos to absorb his powers. In search of freedom for his containment suit, Pandor offers a hefty reward for anyone who can open it. Several individuals attempt but fail until Kevin steps in with the intention of absorbing a Tatanite sample to crack the armor. However, he changes his mind when detecting dangerous radiation levels, leading to a fight with Pandor and his henchmen. Kevin flees, inadvertently leaving behind a piece of Tatanite. Later, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin team up to help Pandor return to his home planet. They track him to a flint mine where an evolving battle ensues. Humongousaur evolves into Ultimate Humongousaur to protect Gwen and Kevin, but during the chaos, Pandor and his crew escape. Their ultimate plan to use Tatanite to free Pandor unfolds, but Kevin's anger and impulsiveness put him at risk. Ultimately, Pandor gains his freedom, absorbing energy and attacking his minions. Ben and his team intervene, but Pandor mistakes the Ultimatrix for a weapon and attacks Gwen. Ben transforms into Jetray and engages Pandor, eventually luring him away from Earth. However, Pandor absorbs a power plant's energy, growing into a giant. Ben, Kevin, and Big Chill collaborate to develop a plan to get Pandor back into his suit. By evolving into Ultimate Cannonbolt, they successfully trap Pandor and prepare to return him to his home planet. Yet Aggregor's spaceship attacks, leading to Pandor's recapture just as Bivalven and Galapagos suffered a similar fate. Argit attempts to extort the Forever Knights by offering insurance, but when they decline, their castle crumbles and Argit departs. Meanwhile, Ben revels in his hero status at Mr. Smoothie, surrounded by fans eager for autographs and alien-themed drinks. The Forever Knights interrupt, stealing a smoothie machine. Ben's efforts as Spider Monkey to stop them are hindered by his adoring fan. Seeking assistance, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin consult Jimmy, who reveals that the Knights have also stolen junk food without taking money. Investigating a Forever Knight castle, they discover Argit posing as a leader who forces Knights to fetch junk food for his amusement. Argit uses his new ally Andreas to threaten castle destruction if they defy him. Ben scans Andreas's DNA, gaining a new transformation, and exposes Argit's ruse. A Knight officer, Sir Dagon, turns Argit's followers against the team and locks them up while planning Andreas's execution. Argit manipulates the team into freeing him to rescue Andreas, but Dagon activates a bomb as a last-ditch effort. The team, aided by Andreas' sacrifice, manages to contain the explosion, and Kevin breaks ties with Argit for his selfishness. Later, Aggregor finds and heals Andreas, placing him in stasis alongside other captives as he sets his sights on capturing Raad. While driving Ben home, Gwen and Kevin express concern about Ben's recent nightmares, but he brushes it off. However, when they reach his house, Ben senses an ominous presence following him. During the night, lightning strikes Ben's house and Ra'ad, one of Aggregor's captives, attacks him. Ben transforms into Jet Ray to battle Ra'ad and later detains him in a containment cell at La Soledad. Ra'ad blames Ben for Aggregor's pursuit of the other captives, and they learn that Aggregor seeks to absorb the combined powers of Ra'ad and the other 4 prisoners. Ra'ad seemingly agrees to an alliance but betrays them when he reads Kevin's mind, revealing their plan to Aggregor. In a struggle, Ra'ad attempts to destroy the Ultimatrix, but the ensuing explosion causes Ra'ad to disappear. Turns out he has hidden himself inside the Ultimatrix to avoid being detected by Aggregor. Eventually, Kevin manages to separate him from the Watch, and Aggregor arrives on time to capture him. Ra'ad escapes at first, but returns to help Ben and his friends from Aggregor's wrath. He seemingly sacrifices himself and Aggregor in an explosion, but we soon learn that both of them survived, and Aggregor now has all 5 aliens in his possession. In the desert, Aggregor attempts to escape with Ra'ad but is intercepted by plumbers. During their confrontation, Aggregor's ship's hyperdrive is damaged, leaving him stranded on Earth. Meanwhile, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin are at Mr. Smoothie when Ben's fans approach, prompting him to transform into Ultimate Big Chill to ward them off. Max's hologram leads them to the desert where they find evidence of a battle between Aggregor and the plumbers. They decide to track Aggregor to a military base, La Soledad, where he seeks to use Professor Paradox's chronologer as a power source to absorb the other aliens' abilities. Colonel Rosem gives them permission to stop Aggregor but warns that the base will be destroyed if they fail. Inside the base, they confront Aggregor and his controlled captives, leading to a fight. A clash between the team and the aliens controlled by Aggregor unfolds, with Max assisting in freeing Bivalven and Nanomech releasing Ra'ad. However, Aggregor powers up and becomes Ultimate Aggregor after absorbing all the aliens. Ultimate Aggregor, now possessing the powers of Bivalven, Galapagos, Pandor, Andreas, and Ra'ad, faces off against Ben and his team. Despite their efforts, Aggregor's invulnerability proves insurmountable. Ben receives guidance from Azimuth about Aggregor's quest for the Map of Infinity, a powerful artifact that can grant immense abilities. After Max is severely injured by Aggregor, the team embarks on a mission to retrieve the map pieces before Aggregor can assemble them and become even more unstoppable. Their journey leads them to Migdidi, a perilous planet where they encounter challenges and traps. Though they secure the first map piece, Gwen is poisoned and Aggregor seizes the opportunity to take it from them. Determined to thwart Aggregor's plans, the team vows to continue their quest for the remaining map pieces. In an underwater adventure on the planet Pisces, Ben's team responds to a distress call from Magister Pike, who's battling the Ultimate Aggregor. On Earth, Ben's popularity causes a crowd frenzy, leading to Gwen and Kevin rescuing him. They head to Pisces and encounter a sea monster. Kevin's suit breaks, Gwen saves him, and a helpful fish provides Kevin with an air supply. They meet Pike, and as they venture deeper into Pisces, Pike is tragically crushed by a rock. Ben and Kevin confront Ultimate Aggregor, who steals a vital piece of the Map of Infinity that holds Pisces together. Ben, as Ultimate Big Chill, struggles to prevent Pisces from breaking apart and eventually succeeds, saving the planet. Pike initially suspects them, but they part as allies after the ordeal, with Kevin losing his makeshift fish helmet and Gwen comforting him. The group chases Ultimate Aggregor through a portal into a dimension known as Ledger Domain, which is composed of pure mana. They encounter Charmcaster, who initially fights Gwen but agrees to help when she hears about Aggregor. Charmcaster's magical and anodite powers have become stronger in this dimension. Adwaitia, the ruler of Ledger Domain, sends rock monsters to attack them. Ben transforms into various aliens to battle the monsters, and they eventually face Adwaitia himself. After a series of battles and challenges, Ben discovers that the Alpha Rune, which Adwaitia possesses, is another piece of the Map of Infinity. Aggregor steals it, leaving Charmcaster behind as the dimension collapses. The group escapes, but the door to Ledger Domain seals shut. Ben promises Gwen they will return to help Charmcaster, but for now, Aggregor possesses 3/4 of the powerful artifact, leaving them with one final chance to stop him. Azimuth contacts Ben, Gwen, and Kevin, expressing his dissatisfaction with their failure to stop Ultimate Aggregor from obtaining 3 out of 4 pieces of the Map of Infinity. He teleports them to Rust Bucket 3 in another galaxy, where they discover the Perplexodron, a massive cube-like artificial planet. Aggregor arrives and they chase after him, managing to enter the Perplexodron. Inside, they encounter perplexing and gravity-defying rooms, and Ben's attempt to transform into Chromastone goes awry, turning him into Humongousaur. They face various traps and security systems, but eventually regroup. Gwen and Aggregor continue through the Perplexodron, encountering security measures, while Ben and Kevin struggle to navigate the challenges. Gwen and Aggregor reach a snowy room, and Gwen is temporarily frozen but rescued by Ben as Swampfire. They realize they must go through rooms guarded by sentinels to reach the final map of Infinity Piece. They encounter the Sentinel, who explains the Perplexadron's purpose and its impending collapse. Aggregor defeats the Sentinel and takes the final piece. Ben, Gwen, and the Sentinel are rescued by Kevin, and the Sentinel laments their failure. Despite the setback, the team remains determined to stop Aggregor before he can enact his plan. After Ultimate Aggregor obtains all 4 pieces of the Map of Infinity and plans to absorb the power of a newborn celestial sapien at the Forge of Creation, Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Azimuth come up with a desperate plan. They use their keys to unlock Alien X, a celestial sapien inside Ben's Omnitrix, hoping he can stop Ultimate Aggregor. Inside Alien X, Ben struggles to get the 2 personalities, Selena and Bellicus, to cooperate, but is interrupted by Professor Paradox, who reverts him back to Ben. Paradox explains Ultimate Aggregor's plan and takes them to the Forge of Creation, a dimension where celestial sapiens are born. However, during a confrontation with Agrobots, Ben and Kevin are accidentally pulled into a time barrier, leading to a meeting with Ben's younger self. After some confusion and battles, they manage to free themselves and proceed to the Forge. They face Ultimate Aggregor, who defeats them despite their efforts. In a desperate move, Kevin absorbs the Ultimatrix and defeats Aggregor, reverting him to his normal state. Kevin spares his life, but his actions come at a high cost as he becomes dangerously unstable, leaving Ben and the team to deal with the aftermath. Professor Paradox arrives and helps them, promising to return Ben's younger self home with no memory of the events while vowing to care for Kevin in the future. In the Null Void in Karsicon, a prisoner named Truck is released from solitary confinement and meets Ultimate Kevin, who has been on a revenge spree against those who wronged him. Meanwhile, Ben and Gwen investigate Kevin's actions on Earth, leading them to clues that point to his whereabouts in the Null Void. In the prison, Ultimate Kevin beats up fellow inmates, while Quince recognizes him from previous encounters. Back on Earth, Ben and Gwen discover the Null Void symbol scratched into Kevin's room floor, providing a lead. As they confront the prison warden, Morg, they warn him of Ultimate Kevin's intent to kill him, but Morg dismisses their warnings. Ultimately, Ultimate Kevin's backstory is revealed: his time in the Null Void, his transformation control lessons with Quirrell, and the betrayal by Morg. Gwen and Ben are captured but manage to escape with Ben's help. In a confrontation with Morg, it's revealed that he's involved in illegal drug trafficking, using prisoners to mine alien dream dust. He activates the prisoners' collars to expose his secret, causing them to extreme pain. Ben, as Echo, frees the prisoners and defeats Morg's robot guards. But a collapsing mine separates Ultimate Kevin and Morg. As Ultimate Kevin corners Morg, Ben, Gwen, and Quince manage to save Morg from falling. However, Ultimate Kevin escapes, believing Morg is dead, and Ben contemplates the dangerous threat Kevin poses, discussing the possibility of putting him down with Gwen. Argid seeks Ben and Gwen's help to hide from Ultimate Kevin, who is still on a rampage seeking revenge. They decide to take him to the Plumber's Academy as a temporary refuge. While en route, Ultimate Kevin attacks, but they manage to temporarily fend him off. At the academy, Argid changes the Vriedel brothers' exam scores as part of a deal with their father, but things go awry when Ultimate Kevin arrives. Ben and Gwen confront Ultimate Kevin but are overpowered. Ben transforms into Humongousaur and then Ultimate Humongousaur, but Ultimate Kevin defeats him. Ultimately, Argid, with the Vriedel's help, distracts Ultimate Kevin, leading to a chaotic showdown where Ultimate Kevin threatens Gwen but ultimately spares her. As Ultimate Kevin leaves, thinking he's killed Argid, it's revealed that Argid faked his death. Later, Argid is arrested by the Academy, raising questions about Ultimate Kevin's potential for rehabilitation. Alan Albright is desperately pursued by Ultimate Kevin, who desires his powers and ultimately absorbs them. Ben, concerned about Ultimate Kevin's power-hunting rampage, decides that he must eliminate Kevin to protect others, leading to a heated argument with Gwen, who believes they can find another solution. Their disagreement escalates into a physical battle, with Ben's transformations and Gwen's spells clashing. Ben eventually leaves, determined to stop Kevin, while Gwen seeks Darkstar's help in curing Kevin. Max offers support for Ben's decision, but emphasizes that it's not the usual Ben move to not give second chances. Darkstar joins forces with Ben, albeit reluctantly, and together they set out to find Kevin. Meanwhile, Gwen attempts to reason with Kevin, but is attacked, and Kevin absorbs her powers. Gwen uses her magic to fend him off, eventually escaping to meet up with Ben and Darkstar. They form a plan to use Darkstar's Dominus Librium piece to cure Kevin. Meanwhile, Kevin confronts Max and his stepfather Harvey, leading to an intense altercation. Ben arrives to stop Kevin, and after a series of battles and clashes, they manage to distract him long enough to make a getaway. Gwen and Kevin engage in a dangerous chase, which ultimately results in Ben taking on Kevin as Echo. When Gwen convinces Ben to spare Kevin and opt for a cure instead, they use Cooper's machine to extract Kevin's powers and return him to normal. However, Darkstar absorbs the excess energy and becomes overpowered. But luckily, Ben had a contingency plan and strips Darkstar of his stolen powers. Kevin is restored to sanity, and all the powers he had absorbed are returned to their respective owners. The episode concludes with a tense but ultimately peaceful reunion among the main characters. In a possible future, a villain named Eon attacks Ben 10,000's headquarters. But Ben 10,000 fights him with the Ultimatrix, seemingly defeating him with Clockwork's Time Ray. However, Paradox appears and warns that the fight with Eon is not over. In the present, Ben, Gwen, and Kevin investigate a signal from the hands of Armageddon, which releases Eon's soldiers when touched. Ben 10,000 from the future arrives with Paradox, explaining that Eon is targeting alternate versions of Ben across time. They decide to confront Eon, and Paradox reveals the hands of Armageddon as the source of the trouble. Despite their efforts, Eon emerges and transforms Waybig into a statue, eliminating him from the Ultimatrix. Ben and Ben 10,000 join forces using various alien forms to battle Eon and his army of Ben clones. Eon reveals his plan to create a timeline where he is the sole Ben Tennyson, but is ultimately defeated when Jetray destroys the hands of Armageddon, restoring the timelines. Ben 10,000 unlocks all his remaining aliens and warns the team about Old George and the creature from beyond. Two Forever Knights and their squire, led by Sir Reginald, inadvertently release an interdimensional monster called Lucubra while searching for alien weaponry. Meanwhile, Old George, who resides in a convalescent home, starts heading towards the area. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin investigate the disturbance caused by the release of the creature, leading to a confrontation with another faction of Forever Knights led by Sir Cyrus. A truce is reluctantly formed to deal with the Lucubra, which feeds on victims' thoughts, but mistrust remains. Gwen uses her powers to locate the creature and realizes its weakness to metal. With teamwork, they defeat the Lucubra, temporarily sealing it in its dimension. The episode ends with Winston, the squire, showing signs of potential lingering influence from Lucubra, and Old George walking away in disappointment as the seal is damaged. Old George mysteriously infiltrates Area 51, causing the entire base to vanish. Ben, Gwen, Kevin, Max, Cooper, and Colonel Rosem investigate the disappearance and discover an underground facility holding 774 alien prisoners. They learn that one alien, prisoner 775, has escaped, and he seeks revenge against Colonel Rosem and his family for his imprisonment. As the team races to stop 775, they engage in a battle to prevent him from carrying out his vengeful plans. Ultimately, they spare 775's life, realizing the tragic circumstances that led to his actions, and Ben gains a new alien transformation called Chameleon. The episode ends with Max chastising Colonel Rosem for his lack of compassion and the consequences of his past decisions. Meanwhile, tensions rise among the various factions of the Forever Knights, including Sir Driscoll, Urian, Enoch, and Patrick, who are all at odds with each other. Chaos ensues during their meeting until Old George arrives and reprimands them for dividing the Forever Knights. Driscoll tries to attack George, but he is swiftly defeated. Old George reveals himself as the founder of the Order and unites the factions under his leadership, vowing to eradicate all aliens from Earth. Meanwhile, Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Argid deal with the Forever Knights' campaign to force aliens to leave Earth. They investigate the disappearances of aliens and uncover the Knights' actions. They confront the Knights, engage in battles, and ultimately succeed in freeing the captured aliens and driving the Knights away. Ben's transformation into Ultimate Spider Monkey plays a crucial role in their victory. The episode ends with George plotting a larger conflict, signaling the start of a major battle against aliens on Earth. At a local carnival, a man runs a freak show featuring Vilgax in his true form, but he's later ambushed by a group led by Conduit Edwards, who believes that Vilgax is Dagon, an alien here to save the Earth. Meanwhile, Julie convinces Ben and Kevin to investigate the Flamekeepers Circle, a charity organization centered around Dagon, which Ben skeptically dismisses. After discovering that the Flamekeepers Circle has Vilgax and alien technology, Ben infiltrates their base and learns the truth from Vilgax himself. A battle ensues, Julie is taken hostage, and with the help of Gwen and Kevin, Ben defeats the Flamekeepers Circle and Vilgax. Julie still believes in using alien technology to benefit the world, leading to a discussion with Ben while Vilgax plots to reshape Earth to his liking. In a battle against the Esoterica, Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and a squad of plumbers discover that Winston, the former squire of the Forever Knights, is working with the Esoterica due to his previous mind control by the Lucubra. They confront the Forever Knights, including Sir Cyrus and Sir Driscoll, who reveal the legend of St. George, who sealed Dagon's heart with the sword Ascalon. Dagon takes control of Gwen and reveals that if Wilgax obtains his heart, he'll gain the power to control the entire universe. The team is locked up by the Forever Knights, but they eventually locate Old George and head to a shrine built by the Esoterica, where the heart is sealed. However, Wilgax gets to it first, gaining immense power. Gwen teleports Ben and Kevin to confront Wilgax, but they are overpowered. Wilgax breaks the seal, unleashing Dagon's power, and Gwen faints. Ben transforms into Edel, but is defeated, leading to Wilgax entering Dagon's dimension. Gwen revives to find Old George, the original Forever Knight, now fully empowered and ready for the upcoming battle. Ben, Gwen, Kevin, and Azimuth find themselves immersed in a series of past events through Azimuth's holographic projections. Azimuth reveals the origin of the sword Ascalon, which he created to harness the primal forces of the universe, but it led to disastrous consequences when stolen by a warrior who used its power to destroy an Insurcian planet. Azimuth also shares the story of Sir George, the original Forever Knight who wielded Ascalon to defeat the Lucubra and seal the interdimensional creature Dagon away. However, Azimuth expresses concern that using the sword's power would corrupt George. Gwen tracks down George, and Ben, now as Ultimate Humongousaur, faces him in a battle. They strike a deal that if George loses to Dagon, he will give the sword to Ben. Ben, Gwen, and Kevin are ambushed by the Esoterica, who are determined to bring Dagon back into their dimension. After defeating the Esoterica attackers, the team learns that the Flamekeeper's Circle is planning to release Dagon. They rush to the Flamekeeper's Circle headquarters, but find it deserted, with members having gone to free Dagon. Meanwhile, Sir George rallies the Forever Knights to stand against Dagon's return. When Ben, Gwen, and Kevin arrive at the seal's location, they find a battle between the Forever Knights and the Flamekeeper's Circle. They try to negotiate with the Knights but end up fighting them. After defeating the Knights, they discover Esoterica spies aboard the Rust Bucket 3 and deal with them. Proceeding towards the seal, they must navigate through ongoing battles and use high-tech catapults to reach it. On the other side, Sir George and his knights approach the seal, but Winston sacrifices himself to protect George from an attack by Conduit Edwards. George reaches the seal, but when it cracks, he unwittingly releases Wilgax, who is now fused with a Lucubra and powered by Dagon. Wilgax proceeds to break the seal, unveiling Dagon's dimension. The gang is caught in the midst of the conflict between the Forever Knights and the Flamekeeper's Circle as they race to stop Dagon's return. During a battle, Kevin acquires a weapon from a fallen Forever Knight and uses it in the fight against the Esoterica. As they approach the seal containing Dagon, Sir George and Heartblast engage Wilgax, who has been empowered by Dagon and is attempting to break the seal. Gwen uses her mana powers to shield the team from Dagon's mind control wave, but Dagon manages to escape, transforming every living person on Earth into Esoterica-controlled beings except for Ben, Gwen, Kevin, Sir George, and a few others. Wilgax confronts them and resumes his efforts to break the seal. Gwen and Kevin leave to search for a spell that can contain Dagon, while Ben and Sir George face off against Wilgax. Meanwhile, Gwen and Kevin are attacked by Esoterica and take refuge in Gwen's home. Gwen attempts to find a spell but is eventually overtaken by Dagon's control. Kevin manages to protect her with a metal cap and seeks Ben and George's help. Wilgax, desperate for more power, summons Siphon, and as they confront him, the seal finally shatters, releasing Dagon into their dimension. The episode ends with the giant Dagon appearing in the sky, asserting his presence everywhere. In the final episode, Dagon, having broken free from the seal, confronts Ben and his team, along with Sir George. Wilgax vanishes, leaving Dagon to summon hordes of Esoterica to attack. Ben transforms into Ultimate Waybig to battle Dagon, but is ultimately defeated. Gwen and Kevin fend off the Esoterica, while George takes on Dagon. Meanwhile, Wilgax and Siphon plot to absorb Dagon's power using a machine. Despite their efforts, Dagon prevails, causing George's demise. Wilgax then absorbs Dagon's power and becomes a formidable threat. The team escapes to Plumber's Mount Rushmore base, where they face Wilgax, who tears the base apart. In a final showdown, Ben absorbs power into Ascalon and uses it to turn everyone back to normal. Julie arrives and Ben chooses to return Ascalon to Azimuth, who reveals a new Omnitrix and promises Ben the Master Control on his 18th birthday, ending the series with a sense of closure and the start of a new chapter. So this was Ben 10 Ultimate Alien from beginning to the end. What do you think about the show? Let us know down in the comments, and as for everything else, if you enjoyed it, drop us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon to never miss an upload.